Alright, in this video we're going to be doing some more examples with what we have learned so far using long division and then converting fractions to mixed numbers and vice versa. So in the first problem here we're asked to essentially just write the following numbers as mixed numbers. So we're given some fractions and the idea is to represent it as mixed numbers using the techniques that we just outlined in the previous two videos. Now in the first few examples, what we notice is that we don't actually need to do long division because we can straight away just see that, well, we can decompose this as follows. We know that we can write the top as 5 plus 2 on 7. Right, sorry, 5 plus 2 on 5. And then one thing we could do is we could actually just simplify this. So we split it up into 5 on 5 plus 2 on 5. Then this is going to become 1 plus 2, 5. Or we can simply write that as 1 on and 1 on 2/5. So that's the way that we write it. And we can go back to the 7/5 simply by multiplying this by 5, adding the 2 and dividing by 5 again. So that's going to give us 7 on 5. For this one we can do the same. We can think of, okay, so what's a number less than 13 that would be a multiple of 3? That would be 12. So we can write it as this number here. Then we know that 12 divided by 3, that's 4. And then we have 1 over 3 left over. And then if we want to check that, we can multiply this by 3. So 4 times 3, that's 12, plus 1, 13 on 3. So that comes back to the original one. Now let's try this one. Okay, so what number less than 48 is a multiple of 11? Well, 44 would be one candidate. And then we can split this up. This is going to divide into 4. And then we have 4 on 11 left over. So we have 11 times 4, that's 44, plus 4, that's 48 on 11. That's once again what we had. Now this was a little bit trickier, but we can hopefully notice that one multiple of 53 would be 6 times 53. So that would actually be 318 plus the leftover, which would be in this case 8. So then if we divide this one by 53, that becomes 6. And then this is going to be 8 on 53. So we can go back to this number. If we multiply this two, 53 times 6, that's 318. Plus 8, that's 326 on 53. Now let's go to this one here. Okay, so this one looks a fair bit more complicated because the difference between the numerator and denominator is quite huge now. So I guess long division would be a good way of going about it. So let me just do it here. So let's say gonna divide 527 on 8. Now if we grab the first digit, we notice that that's 8 does not fit into 5, so we need to grab the next one in line, which is 2. So how many times can you fit 8 into 52? Well, 8 times 6, that's 48. That's close enough, so I guess we can multiply that by 6. And then 8 times 6, that's 48. Now we subtract that. We're going to be left with 4. We bring down the 7. If we multiply by 6 again, that's going to be just over 47. So I guess we have to go with a number lower than that. So I guess 8 times 5 would give us 40. So let's do 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. We're left with 7. And we could continue with decimal places, but obviously we don't really want to do that. So let's just have remainder 7. So that means that we can actually write this as 65 and 7 on 8. So we notice that this is quite close to 66, but not quite. And if we wanted to actually bring this back to this number, we would just multiply this by that. So 65 times 8 is 520 plus 7 over 8. and that would give us 527 on 8. So we have already proven that this is actually the mixed number representation of that one. Now let's write down the following numbers as fractions. So we're given mixed numbers. Now we want to go back to fractions. So this one's a little bit easier because it's pretty straightforward. We do the cycle thing. So we do 7 times 1, that's 7, plus 4 on 7, that's going to be 13 on 7. Actually, that's 11 on the top. I'm really bad with numbers. So we have 11 on 7. That should be the correct way of writing that. Now let's do the next one. We have 5 times 3, that's 15, plus 1 over 3. It's going to become 16 on 3. Then for the next one, we have 18 plus 1 over 2, which is going to be 19 on 2. And this one could be represented as a decimal if we wanted to, so we could write this as 9.5. This one here, we're going to have 13 times 18. I'm just going to put that in my calculator because it's going to be 234 plus 4 over 13. And that's going to be 238 on 13. And then for this last one here, that's going to be quite a larger number. Let's just put this in the calculator. We have 239 times 57, which comes down to 13,623 plus 48 on 57. And now we do the top, which is going to become 13,671 divided by 57. So this would be the simplest way, or at least the lowest way of representing that mixed number as an improper fraction. So hopefully this video has given you some idea of how to do these conversions back and forth, and how to use long division where needed to go from an improper fraction to a mixed number, and then how to go from a mixed number to an improper fraction, and why that can be useful in some cases.